Welcome back to the show. Today we're making slow roasted Greek style leg of lamb. This is perfect for Easter or really any holiday. Let's get into it right now. All right, this is truly a set it and forget it recipe. I just want to show you all the ingredients. I want to go over it with you so you can succeed in making this. This is the way to go about it. All right, let's talk about the lamb first. I have a 5-pound leg of lamb. This has been trimmed by the butcher. There's still a good amount of fat on it, so it's going to make it nice and juicy. I put 1% salt on here. So no matter what type of salt you use, you just need to use 1% of the weight. So this is exactly 2,300 grams. So that means that I need 23 grams of salt. All right, since I use Diamond Crystal Kosher salt, that translates into roughly 2 tablespoons of it. So I just put it all over the night before. I put over about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of cracked black pepper. And then I put this in the fridge on the wire rack, uncovered. And what that does is it will make it taste a lot better today, but it also dries it out, okay? If you wanna get fancy, it's called dry brining, but it's really not. You're just salting the thing overnight. That's all you're doing. I recommend you do this for really any meat dish. It just makes it better. That's our lamb. Now let's talk about the rest of the ingredients. We're putting potatoes in here. The recipe calls for 3.5 pounds of potatoes. You know, if you use smaller ones, you're gonna have a lot more potatoes. These are probably the largest Yukon Gold potatoes I think I've ever seen. These things are tremendous. But I want them big, and you don't have to use Yukon Gold, you can use other potatoes. I want really nice big potatoes, like chunks, to make it really rustic. All right, we're also gonna put on those potatoes salt, pepper. I have about a tablespoon of dried Greek oregano and paprika. We're going to marinate our lamb right now. Before we marinate it, we'll insert some cloves in here. We'll do that in a second. Cloves of garlic. The rest of the garlic we're gonna put in a blender with 1/3 cup of this lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 2 tablespoons of honey, and rosemary, about 2 tablespoons of just the leaves, and then 3/4 cup of olive oil. You can use extra virgin if you want, you don't have to. That's pretty much everything here. We'll get to making this in 1 second, and then later on, I'll show you the ingredients later on. We're gonna make ladolemono. We're gonna make that too. That's awesome to serve with this. So we're gonna insert some garlic into our lamb. So what I want you to do is take your cloves and just make kind of like little slits like this. This is gonna work the best to get inside of the lamb. So you can just chop like this and then turn these into points. Kind of like that. At this time, you can actually set your oven for 325 degrees and set the racks about middle level, okay? Here's all the garlic. You don't have to be exact how much you're doing. This is like 4 cloves, 5 cloves. I have right here a paring knife, so I just want to make slits into the lamb. Okay, and you can just move your knife a little bit just so you have enough room. And I just go all over the place, you know. And it's also gonna help the marinade a little bit get inside, but not so much. All right, so I just do those 2 sections right now so I don't lose track. Here is the garlic, okay? And then because I got a point, it's very easy just to push that in there, just like that. Sometimes I just have to make a little bit more space so the garlic will get in there. It doesn't take too long to do this, but it is worth it. It's just giving a little bit more added flavor, and this is a very, very traditional way to do this. We actually did a leg of lamb 2 years ago on this channel that was a boneless, and we cooked it to medium rare, okay? So this is the opposite of that. This is a slow roasted where we're cooking it to like 190, okay? Very different technique. What's nice about this recipe, the beauty of it, is you can cook it, you don't have to slow roast this. You can just put a meat thermometer in here and cook it to your liking too. Okay, so I got my blender here, and let's just make this marinade quickly. This is the recipe just says the remaining garlic, 15 cloves. So we used like 5 here, cut into slits, and then 10 over here. It has a tablespoon of rosemary leaves. Leaves, I try to be very specific in our recipes because we don't want the stem in it. Dijon is 1 tablespoon. 1, 2. Lemons, just roll your lemons to get more juice out of them. You know, if you don't have one of these, I recommend you get it. It's awesome. That little yellow-green contraption, that thing's the worst. And then 3/4 cup of olive oil. I'm using this little blender. I like these little attachments for it. It's my Ninja blender. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, all right? We're up to number 41. That means we've been doing it for 41 weeks. If you're a fan here of this channel, and I know you are, okay, and you're not subscribed there, why not, you know? We talk about stuff to actually help you do better in the kitchen, but we were considering maybe a Vitamix. Okay, so it's all blended up. I am starting to eat my words on this channel. I use these. It comes in handy right here for this one. Let's put on half the marinade here, and I would just say let it get on there for 20 minutes. You'll have enough time because you got to cut your potatoes and prep them now and all that stuff. It's like a super thick paste. Put this off to the side. By the way, I want to just let you know, this recipe was inspired by multiple different Greek recipes. There's a guy who has a channel on YouTube. This is very similar to his recipe. I don't want to make it like I've been making these type of dishes for a long time, because I really haven't. Like when we made this, it was so good right away. All right, so the potatoes are cut in half. You can cut them into kind of wedges like this, like thirds. And you don't have to be super precise, okay? So like this, really big pieces. All right, you could go like this too. You could just cut chunks like this, okay? You can also do that. It doesn't matter. It's like you're not working in a restaurant, you know? I could probably fit in a little bit more potatoes. So the recipe says 3.5 pounds, but you know, if you could fit a couple more, fit them in there. You don't want to crowd them too much. So here we go, right here, potatoes. This is the other half of our marinade. It's gonna get all over it anyway, but we'll try to hit it up, you know? Just a half a cup of the chicken base. Just stick it on the side here. This is paprika. What was it, Tara? Do you remember how much? It was a teaspoon?
I think it was 1 teaspoon.
Yeah. This is more for color than anything else. It's not smoked, so it doesn't really have much flavor. Greek oregano, which, you know, if you eat a lot of Greek food, it's on everything. And this is a tablespoon. I think I'm gonna use more. Last thing, salt and pepper. Because remember, there's no salt or pepper in this marinade. There's a ton of salt on our lamb already because we dry brined it overnight with the 1% ratio. So salt these potatoes to taste. You know, I know sometimes people get annoyed when recipes say that, but you know, with salt and pepper, it's better to write recipes to taste because many people cannot have salt. But you know, how much should I put on right there? Probably a couple teaspoons, maybe even a tablespoon. Okay, lots of pepper too. Okay, I'm back now with the lamb. Just take the lamb, fat side up, okay? The side that has more fat, just put it on top. So I want to make sure my foil is extremely tight. It'll just lock everything in. We won't lose our liquid either, so nothing will dry out. Extra insurance, we're gonna do a second. So 325 degrees Fahrenheit, all right? We'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna make the ladolemono, okay?
And this you can use not just to pour on your potatoes, but it's really good as a salad dressing.
Basically, a zest of 1 lemon will be fine. Putting it back in here. You don't have to do this in the blender. You can do this all, you can just whisk it. 1/4 cup of lemon juice. It's about 1.5 lemons, unless you have a really juicy lemon. You want about a cup of olive oil in here. 2 cloves of garlic, Dijon mustard. This is 2 teaspoons. Okay, and then 2 teaspoons of the dried oregano. I will start with a little bit of salt and pepper. It's about 1/2 teaspoon. All right, we're gonna blend it. Definitely need some salt, and I would say more pepper. I put another lemon in there, then it was too lemony, so I put a little bit more olive oil in. Now it is perfect. Now, when you make something like this, you want to make it to how you like it. Okay, so it's been about 3 hours and 20 minutes. So there we go. Turn up your oven to 450. You can cut your string off now if your butcher tied it for you. Just is gonna make it easier than having to do it later on. Oh, Jim, what is the temperature at? A lot higher than medium or rare. I'm telling you, lamb is good this way. I think it's better this way. Yeah, my oven takes forever, so I'm gonna let that get to 450, uncovered, then brown it. It's gonna be amazing. It's super shreddable. Let's check out the temp. Look at this, it's telling me it's over 190, 193, 194. Temp is great and all, but you gotta go by feel. The bone is loose, the meat is super tender. Look at this meat, oh. Look at this, look at that. I just wanna crisp this up for about 10 minutes. My oven is now at 450. Put it in uncovered, then we'll take it out and we will finish off our potatoes, okay? So good. Now listen, the lamb, that was 10 more minutes just there, just to crisp it up a little bit. These little spots of fat there. Let's get this out of here, and then you can see all the liquid in the pan here with my potatoes. It's a ton of the lamb fat, okay, and the oil that, you know, our marinade that liquefied. Now, if your lamb is really tender, if you try to grab it, it might just like fall apart. Okay, use that foil that you had from before and just tent it so it stays warm. This is a super easy dish to make for Easter, for any holiday. You know, it's not a lot of cooking, you're just roasting it. I'm gonna make my potatoes, get them a little bit more like separated. Back in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes until they're very crispy. Okay, I have 450 oven. You can see they are swimming in the lamb fat. These potatoes are very soft. They're soft yet crisp at the same time. So you gotta be a little careful with them. They are phenomenal because they absorbed all of the fat. So listen, this has been out for a while. Still, pan is still hot. You can see how much fat is in here. It's a ton. So just like this, you're gonna grab a ton of the fat. See that fat over here? Okay. So same thing again, just like this. Okay, and then pull it out. Now, most of what I have here, there is some fat in there. You know, most of what I have here is good drippings. I'm just trying to show you how to do this fast when you're preparing this meal for everybody and you don't want to pour this somewhere else. Maybe you want to serve it back in here. So what I like to do is when I serve it, you can take some of this meat, okay? So I just pulled that right off the bone there. Just take a little bit of it, take a little bit more, put it right in that sauce now because we defatted it right there. Serve it like this. But this whole entire leg of lamb will shred for you. Everything will shred apart if you want to do that. And we will just put a little bit of that delicious lemon sauce on the potatoes and on the lamb. The taste tester is here. He smells really good. James, I like your soap. You just had a really good shower after wrestling, right?
Yep.
Which is always needed. It's relatively cool, so I think you'll be able to just dive right in. I put a little bit of the lemon sauce on there for you.
This is so good.
Good.
God.
Right?
It's so good.
Okay, I'm putting a bunch on there.
That way you get like a fresh taste of it.
You can break that up, yeah.
It's fine.
What do you think, James?
All right, well, I think you guys can tell from how I was eating this, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10.
Yes!
Third in a row. Seriously, this is delicious.
Thank you.
Like, I love the flavors of the lemon and the lamb.
Yes!
The last time that you made this, I probably would have given it like an 8.
Tara, I think we got a better leg this time. They were both from Whole Foods. This one just had a nicer look to it. That is a possibility. By the way, foolproof method, if you can get a lamb shoulder. Most butchers in America will slice them into chops and they won't sell you the full shoulder. If you have access, that one, it's like doing a pork butt, you know, in the oven. You could do this exact same recipe with a lamb shoulder. James, I have another thing for you right now. That is a piece of carrot cake that...
So I'm taste testing this too?
Yeah, well, you're gonna taste test it. So this carrot cake is on the website too. Make it for Easter as well. We're not gonna be able to get a video out in time.
So I had this the other night, so I already know how it tastes. But I gotta say, honestly, I do not like frosting. But I do like cream cheese frosting.
Me too.
It's just so much better than whatever the other
Buttercream.
Buttercream.
I agree, James. This is buttercream, but it also has cream cheese in it too. So it just adds it in there. What's this, Get? This is your sister's cake. This is not, I did not make it.
I'm gonna give this an 8.
An 8? You better not let her know. I think it's a 10. I think Sammy did a great job. She makes the full recipe from scratch. She made the recipe and she actually is starting to learn how to photograph it. So this is hers, James. I think she did way better than an 8. But just my opinion.
I think my food's better than hers.
Yeah. He made tikka masala the other night. We'll see you next time.